Welcome back to the Crooked Smile podcast brought to you by Macromedia, or should I say, salam alaikum to our negative 1% UAE audience. That's right. Real recognize real.
It was inevitable that we were going to get air horns at some point.
So, today's a pretty special day. We've got the soundboards working and a bit of gusto behind us, a bit of gusto.
Gusto.
And,
Shout out.
So, Gianni, any Sunday thoughts for today?
Well, funny you should ask. And I think that music is quite fitting because my Sunday thoughts today are about dreams.
Dreams.
Did you have a dream last night?
I had a dream.
Yeah. Well, I had a dream last night, and I know that I had a very intense dream because I woke up with a bit of sweaty, in a sweaty state, should I say? Nightmare. But I couldn't remember what the hell my dream was about. And it happens quite often. I think 80% of my
bit
dreams...
of dream amnesia.
Dreamnesia.
Dreamnesia.
Exactly. It's quite sad. But you have all these wonderful adventures with these people that you think you know in your dreams, and you wake up and you go, who the hell were those people?
Who were they?
Maybe they're someone from a past life. Have you ever thought about that?
Maybe.
I feel like that's the closest thing we have to knowing if we actually, do you believe in, what's it called? Reincarnation? Yeah.
Do I believe in Jesus?
It's the closest thing, I think, to, we have to reincarnation is you have these dreams and it's almost like you're living a past life that you have all these different friends and you have this different life and then you wake up and you're back in your own reality. But it's like deja vu. Like, I reckon it's a sign of that reincarnation's real, don't you think?
What would your reincarnation animal be?
I'd probably come back as a giraffe, I think, in Africa.
I would have said stallion. Italian stallion.
Yeah. What would your reincarnation animal be?
Probably like a mole rat or something.
Yeah. Something disgusting like that. But no, I am serious about this because, I don't know. Sometimes dreams are very realistic. You can't remember anything. Or do you ever wake up from a dream? Like I had one the other day, and this was one that I remembered, where I was so sure that I had an English assignment due that day. So I woke up and I was like, for 5 seconds when I woke up, I was like, holy crap, oh my God, I got to get this English assignment due. I haven't done English for 3 years.
Oh no.
I was like so sure about this. So I don't know. It's a weird one.
Do you ever get when you're going to sleep and then you wake up like with the jolt?
Yeah,
like
well,
5 seconds into sleeping? Like you feel like you're falling and then you right as you hit the ground.
Usually that's like at the end of the dream is like you're falling and then you hit the ground, you wake up. Or like when your alarm's going off and there's some noise, there's some diegetic noise in your dream that actually represents your alarm. Have you had that one before? Like an animal will run up to you, open its mouth and start going, yeah, camera boy Robs. Start going, or something like that. And that's your alarm. And you wake up, you're like, far out. It's fascinating how the human brain works.
Yeah, anyways.
Moving on. They're my Sunday thoughts for the day, hopefully.
I think they were quite elegant.
Better than last time?
I don't know. Well, drop a comment if you think Sunday thoughts were better than last time.
Drop a comment if you want us to drop Sunday thoughts.
Oh. No, I want to keep it. I like it. Okay, but
nice,
anyways, I had a bit of a motivational message I wanted to share today.
Yeah, sure. You've been through the ringer recently, so I think you should say a few things about motivation.
Wake up. What would tomorrow's you want you to do today? Biclo is out there on that bike, grinding in the gym every morning. What are you doing? Life is like Fortnite.
This is so random.
The people with the scars are the most powerful. Just because you're in the storm doesn't mean you're out of the game. The smaller the circle, the closer you are to winning. And win or lose, everyone ends up back in the lobby. So just relax. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
So why?
Why what?
Why did you do that?
What do you mean?
Why?
I just
thought we'd start the podcast with a bit of a
motivational speech on the Sunday morning. I mean, you kind of got a bit depressed with your Sunday thoughts, so I thought I'd kind of lift the mood a little bit with my
thank you for that
motivational speech. But person of the week. Person of the week.
Let's get into person of the week. Sting it, Robbie. Sting it, Robbie. Yeah.
So
guess what I watched last night? Barbie.
Ah.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay.
I just wanted to get into the results of
Ryan Gosling was very good.
Person of the Week from last week, a fortnight ago.
So you mean Person of the Week being Margot Robbie and then just Ryan Gosling for the sake of Ryan Gosling?
The polls from last week were 6-4 on Spotify to Margot Robbie for Person of the Week.
I'd take that. That's 100% the answer.
However, and Robbie, get the air horns ready. On YouTube, it was a landslide victory to Ryan Gosling with 10-1 votes.
Nah.
So the Person of the Week was Ryan Gosling.
But that's not fair because you had the Ryan Gosling comment top and then the Margot Robbie comment was just hidden underneath.
I just put both comments. Well, I can do a poll because we don't have enough subscribers. Please subscribe.
I reckon you pinned the Ryan Gosling comment.
Anyways, so did you want to get into Person of the Week first?
Does that mean
you want me to get into Person of the Week first?
Does that mean you're 1-0 up on Person of the Week?
I am 1-0 up.
But Ryan Gosling, anyway. Ryan Gosling didn't do
Would you like
anything.
to go first or would you like me to go first?
You can go first this week.
Okay, so my Person of the Week this week is Gail Lewis.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this, yeah.
So I've got some, for people who want context, I've got some videos ready and I'll put them up on the screen so we know who Gail Lewis is.
Surely everyone knows by now.
Attention Walmart, this is Gail Lewis, 10-year associate, Morris, Illinois, 844. Signing out. Good night.
That's enough, Gail Lewis, I think. It's like 30 seconds of video dedicated to Gail Lewis.
Yeah, so Gail Lewis is my Person of the Week. Absolute icon. I would say top 3 Walmart employee of all time. And honestly,
Who are the other two?
I'm just heartbroken about her retirement. But
it's amazing how people go viral these days. Seriously, like any other Walmart store, they have people doing that all the time. Why that Walmart store in Illinois, that one woman became famous online?
If you were there Black Friday 2018, you'd know.
Fair enough.
Okay, so who's your Person of the Week this week, Gianni?
Well, we've just ticked over into December, and I think this person deserves a bit more love because they do so much work every Christmas time.
Please don't say Santa. Please don't say Santa.
And yeah, I think we don't appreciate them enough. And it's just ticked over to Christmas time. So my Person of the Week is Mariah Carey. And I can imagine her just sitting back now. I'm not even a Mariah Carey fan, but no one earns more in December than Mariah Carey. And the first few times listening to All I Want for Christmas Is You is nice. I enjoy that every December, but by the end of it becomes a bit annoying because it's everywhere. But I feel like that's my Person of the Week. I think we have to get it out of the way early December. Congratulate her. Thank her for all the work that she's done in creating that song and making Christmas what it is. But yeah, it's more of a Christmas themed one. It's not the same as yours. But yeah, Mariah Carey is my Person of the Week. And let's just get that out of the way so we don't have to talk about her for the rest of December. I was going to say Father Christmas, but
I said please don't say him.
I changed my mind.
You
and
actually
I had to really justify what I was trying to say. But I actually don't like Mariah Carey. I actually don't like Christmas music in general.
I just don't. He just hates Christmas.
I like Christmas, but there's some really bad Christmas music out there that only gets to see the light of day because of Christmas. And I was talking about this with someone the other day, and it's like, Last Christmas is a terrible song. Sorry. Really controversial one. And I love George Michael, but I really don't like that song. And there's some other really, really bad. And then you got like these artists that, like Justin Bieber singing Little Drummer Boy. That was another one that came up the other day. Apparently that's a good Christmas song.
I like the Crazy Frog Christmas
song. Yeah, I don't know. Christmas music needs to take a step up a notch. I think you need some cool, Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift versions of Christmas classics to try and, revamp the Christmas spirit because it's all the stuff's old and a bit rubbish, I reckon.
Yeah.
Christmas music. Controversial comment, I think, but...
Is that the time? Cam's News. 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 This week in Cam's News, we have Pete Davidson being spotted with Madison Klein. Scientists discovering...
Madeline Klein.
This week we have Madison Klein being spotted with Pete Davidson once again.
Madeline Klein.
This week we have Madeline Klein being spotted with
stop repeating yourself. Just keep going, Campbell.
We have scientists discovering a new tool where you can now see your dreams.
Really?
And
Isn't that
to top it
convenient?
off, OG Fortnite has ended. So let's unpack it and break it down. Firstly, Pete Davidson, he's done it again. So let's unpack that. Pete Davidson, he's gone.
Anyway,
Ariana Grande, Kim Kardashian, Emma Ratajkowski,
Hey, how does he keep doing it? Hey,
and now Madeline Klein.
when did Pete Davidson and Emily Ratajkowski break up?
Before she got with Harry Styles.
She's with Harry. Oh yeah, so that. Jeez, the guy Pete Davidson. So much respect to him. He must just have the most insane. I hate to say the word, but riz. Like people talk about, that being, and it's hard to believe that can be such a massive factor, but in his case, it is. It's almost becoming like a novelty for people to go out with Pete Davidson. What is it about him? I guess he's a funny guy, maybe.
Big dick.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so the other one, scientists have discovered a new method or tool or whatever you would call it that allows you to play back your sleeps through like photographic imaging in your brain. That they can track it.
That's
So
fascinating.
you were talking about your dreams earlier.
Literally, and that was not planned at all. That was going to be my Sunday thought. I don't know. It could be
nodded.
quite scary. How do they? What do they? Do
So
they like
it's some
monitor
sort
your?
of photographic imaging in the hippocampus.
It wouldn't look like an image, but it would look like colours and patterns associated with images.
Fascinating.
I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Oh well, that was a good guess.
Thank you.
Shouldn't have said anything.
But
Hippocampus.
more importantly, probably the most important thing in the news was last night, after a month or so of nostalgia, it's come to an end.
Yeah,
OG Fortnite, it's gone.
it got even the people that never thought they were going to play
Sad
Fortnite
music,
again,
please.
like myself.
Gianni,
I started playing Fortnite again, and I don't like playing
where
Fortnite.
were you when you
but
got your first Fortnite win? Can you remember it? The time, the day, the place?
when I was in my house. It's probably the middle of the day. Really, I don't know. I just remember not. I just remember not killing anyone and getting my first Fortnite win somehow. Or maybe I killed one person, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know why they got rid of OG Fortnite. It literally they had 15 million players on the first day of OG Fortnite. It brought back everyone to play Fortnite. Everyone wanted to play Fortnite again. No one wants to play new season, whatever it is, Fortnite, I feel. Season 5. Chapter 5. Yeah, see? It's like Marvel movies. No one wants to watch Marvel movies anymore. It's just become repetitive.
What do you mean?
and crap.
I loved She-Hulk.
But
That was my favourite.
but if they did like a Iron Man reboot, people would come back for the nostalgia, I feel.
I
reckon?
fully agree. I haven't played Fortnite in a while, but when OG Fortnite came back, I know I played with Camera Boy Rob a little bit and we had a few dubs.
Was
but
that bonding for you too?
yeah, a bit of
I know
brotherly
you got your
love,
differences, but
but what do you mean by that?
Rob's been telling me things off camera about you. Anyway, yeah, really weird one, and I feel like they're going to see a massive drop in it. I won't play it again in protest, but it was nice to play a bit of nostalgic Fortnite for a little while there.
So,
But also, I don't play Fortnite very often. Not a gamer.
so Gianni, you've been
What do we
been
got
away.
next?
You've been away while we've been gone, and I'm sure the fans want to hear about it.
Fans.
Fans.
Yeah, damn. Is it time for Adelaide review?
If you want, I mean,
Adelaide review, sting it. Adelaide review. Okay, that's the Adelaide review sting. Wow. Well, I've got a few notes from Adelaide, some really cool things that happened. But basically, I went over to see a really good friend from Exchange. His name's George. I'm going to call him. I've changed my mind. I'm going to call him. I'm going to see if
you
he's...
should, we can
nah.
call him in on the
Nah.
Bluetooth channel on that.
Maybe, but this is going to be impromptu. This is going to be an impromptu call to George. So obviously he doesn't like me, but basically I went to Adelaide to see my friend George, who I met on my exchange in Milan, and Adelaide's really cool. So I went over there to see my mate, and we went to see Måneskin, which are an Italian rock band. I called them Italian Coldplay because obviously everyone had Coldplay fever back in Perth, and I didn't go. So this was my kind of like experience of a cool band, but they were I think they were better than Coldplay. They're pretty hard rock guys. They're kind of funny. 3 very attractive members, and then there's another guy that's not as attractive, but
Wait, are all the
very
members
cool
men?
guitarist.
Or
No, so you got Damiano as the lead singer, then you got the drummer as Ethan, I think, and then the girl bassist, her name's Victor Angelis, and she walked right behind us during the concert. But they're all very attractive in their own way, and then the guitarist is not so much, but yeah, he's a very interesting cat, but really, really good guitarist. So went to see them, Italian Coldplay, and they were really, really, really good. But there's also a few other things.
So what would you, just quickly, sorry.
Yeah.
What would you describe the audience of the place? So what would be the demographic of Italian Coldplay?
Italian Coldplay, there was a very kind of emo goth demographic, and my mate and I didn't really fit into that. We were kind of wearing like lighter clothing. We didn't really have black leather jackets to wear.
As
but
in
still,
it was a goth event?
No, it wasn't a goth event, but lots of people had like leather jackets.
Did they have
and
nose rings?
chokers, and I don't know. People had
Wait. Chokers?
yeah, you know, the things you put around your neck. We didn't have any of that stuff, but I had my Black Beatles shirt, so that's good
Or a
enough. But
Beatles
it doesn't
shirt
matter.
to Italian Coldplay.
The music's for everyone.
Clearly.
But yeah, it was really don't act like that.
What do you mean?
Don't be so anti-goth emo.
I'm anti-chokers.
Why?
Who wears chokers?
People wear chokers. I don't know. It's a fashion thing. It must be a Italian Coldplay fashion thing. But anyway, what else have I got? The barbecue cheeseburger at Perth Airport was extra saucy. I've got that written down as a note. Really saucy barbecue cheeseburger. Oh yeah. So also when we got there, it was like 1 a.m. in the morning. By the time we wrapped up playing pool on the first night, and Adelaide has 24/7 bakeries. 24/7 bakeries. So here we have kebab shops. No, you don't have to do the.
Isn't that amazing though?
Here we have kebab shops that are open pretty late, but 24/7 bakeries. So we sat down and had a pie at 1 a.m. in the morning on the first day.
What type of pie?
Really, really good. I think it was a steak and mushroom pie. So classic pie flavor. Woke up the next day, went to a few wineries. Then that night we saw Måneskin, and then went out afterwards. It was good fun. We're at this vinyl DJ bar till like 1:30 in the morning. So the nightlife in Adelaide really impressed me. And honestly, I think it's because I was in a different state and I was having a different experience. But I thought the nightlife was a bit better than Perth.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Perth nightlife at the moment. Obviously, I haven't found my favorite places or anything yet. I think I need to do a bit more exploring and go outside the norm. But another cool thing about Adelaide is they have speed cameras. Apparently, they have speed cameras that measure distance over time. So you've got, for some reason when we're driving, they've got 6 speed cameras, and then there'll be like 1 kilometre away another 6 speed cameras. And as my friend was describing it to me, you hit the first speed cameras. They take a time, and then by the time you hit the second speed camera, they can measure your average speed that you've taken to go in between the speed cameras to see if you're speeding. So here, obviously, like you see a speed camera, you slow down, and then you might speed off afterwards if you want to break the law.
Alfa Romeo Cane.
But they would know that you've averaged a faster speed than the speed limit in Adelaide, and then you can get fined for that. How crazy is that?
That sounds like some communist.
It's
type
like
stuff.
a 1984 Orwellian kind of thing. Yeah.
A bit spooky.
So that's what you were trying to spoil before. They also have a shop that has random clothing items. So t-shirts, pants, shorts, no branding, just in like 10 different colors for everything. Do we have a place like that here?
Cotton On, H&M,
No, but it's like no branding, just...
Uniqlo.
I don't think they do that. They generally have the same 10 colors. So you go into this store, it's the same 10 colors for every single item of clothing. It's pretty cool. Do they have that?
It's Uniqlo.
Yeah, but it has Uniqlo on it. There's no branding, nothing.
No, Uniqlo.
Okay.
Did you know that's the only state in Australia to have a declining population?
Adelaide?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
It's just a fun fact, I know.
Should we do a little ranking of Australian cities quickly from your experience?
From my experience or all the places? Are we including Tasmania or not including Tasmania?
Well, I haven't been to Tasmania, so I think it's...
They're all inbred.
We can drop them. We can drop them to 5th. 5 states, 2 territories. 5 states? 6 states, 2 territories. Queensland.
So, number 1, WA.
Number 1, WA, but we can... I don't think that.
Number 2, honestly, I reckon I'd go Victoria over New South Wales.
Should we do capital cities? So I think you'd say Melbourne over Sydney.
The culture, the footy.
Yeah,
home of
footy's
footy.
big. Footy's a big part of it. There's like a cool coffee culture apparently there growing. So
Melbourne,
Sydney,
Sydney, then Gold Coast, then
or
Northern
Brisbane.
Territory.
You'd say Brisbane.
Oh, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, South Adelaide, Northern Territory.
South Adelaide. Why do you keep saying South Adelaide?
Isn't it
South Australia.
South Australia. Fuck.
All right. You know what I would do? I'd take Perth out of the equation because Perth's cool, but if I had to pick a place to live, I'd probably go Melbourne.
Or somewhere between Melbourne and Sydney.
Sydney. I'd almost put Adelaide up there.
wouldn't.
Then I'd say Perth, Adelaide. Brisbane's cool as well, but I think Gold Coast is a bit overrated. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're all just rugby people.
That's the other thing. I couldn't deal with
Wade.
I couldn't deal with the sorry to Ty Wade, our guest from last week, but I couldn't deal with the rugby favoritism that is in Queensland and New South Wales. So I think that's what tips Victoria over the top. I think Melbourne would be my favorite place to live in Australia. But also Perth. I think if I went away from Perth, I'd realise how awesome Perth was and how lucky we are to have the best beaches and such a chill lifestyle.
lucky,
And
so
also the
privileged.
housing and everything's super expensive in Sydney and Melbourne apparently. So
And Perth.
yeah, but more so in Melbourne and Sydney.
Napoleon Bonaparte. What did you think?
I thought it was one of the funniest movies I've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, we went to
was
Napoleon thinking it was
hilarious.
going to be like a historical epic, and then it's almost kind of a piss take of Napoleon. I thought
See, the French are not happy apparently with the depiction of Napoleon because Napoleon is like,
the greatest military general
Well,
of all time.
and he is. And I went home and naturally I watched a whole bunch of videos of Napoleon and the tactics that he brought to all these battles and were apparently like, you know, like the flanking thing that he does in the scene in Austerlitz, I think.
ice.
Yeah. That's but you know, that almost becomes overshadowed with this insecurity and weirdness that he has. And they must have got that from like historical evidence of like letters and stuff that he used to write to Josephine and Joaquin
there's some
Phoenix does it really well.
Interesting sex scenes in Napoleon as well that were kind of
Yeah.
taking the piss out of him. I
Yeah.
thought.
It's almost like there's just a duality to the way the Phoenix played him. He had like the great, you know, patriotic
And then there was some
French guy, but then there's like he played into that massive like insecurity, small guy, you know.
And there was like some
Weird.
random scene where he was just dancing in front of a fireplace with his dog and Josephine.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds. And
I
it
don't
was
know.
just like,
I liked it though. I liked it. I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. I
think it was a funny movie, but it wasn't what it was meant to be.
but he probably was like that as like a very small, weird man.
Little man.
You saw what happened when I don't want to spoil it, but when he went away to Egypt or whatever. I don't know if that's historically accurate and found out that his wife was having an affair and how he freaked out about that.
I
because-
reckon that would be historically.
Maybe. But yeah, I liked it. I would recommend Napoleon. I think it's a different spin, and you still get the idea of like the scope of his victories and stuff like that. Maybe not too much, but I thought it was enjoyable. I liked it. Yeah. Would you give it out of 10?
6.
I'd give it more of a 7 maybe.
So, Gianni, I gave you an interesting domino effect to do
yeah.
last week, and I was wondering if you wanted to.
Well,
I know you probably prepared something.
it's
in
a
the notes, but
time bending domino effect because it has to go backwards, but mine jumps around everywhere. So, should we sting domino effect? Is this just the
universal
sting?
sting.
Okay, it's the universal sting. Domino effect. So, do you want to read what the domino effect for me was?
How did DJ Khaled bringing out the lobster lead to Taylor Swift's diss track on Jake Gyllenhaal?
Wow, and for clarification, I don't know if Campbell knows this as a kind of a Taylor Swift semi-fan, but as a closeted Taylor Swift super fan, I think the whole of Red, the whole of Red by Taylor Swift is about Jake Gyllenhaal. I think obviously there's All Too Well and the 10-minute version of All Too Well, which is
She talks about meeting his dad.
quite a critical, and it's very
Or him meeting her dad.
yeah, and it seems like it's very, drawn from experience with Jake Gyllenhaal, but I feel like the whole album of Red is, I guess, a diss track to Jake Gyllenhaal. So we'll get into it. So we start with DJ Khaled bringing out The Lobster, which is an interesting place to start.
It's kind of like the Gail Lewis.
It's a
meme of
viral.
a few months
He
ago.
says a few things. He says, doesn't he say bring out the whole ocean and other rubbish like that? Let's go golfing.
Yo, blue rugby.
Anyway, so we'll start with this idea that DJ Khaled has many famous catchphrases, like bring out the lobster. But what's another DJ Khaled catchphrase that's almost like his staple in all the music that he makes?
They call me cappuccino.
No.
Another one.
We the best music.
Oh.
Yeah? He says that in all his songs. It's like
Can
his
you give
little
me
staple.
just your best impression of
No, I
that?
just did it. We the best music.
We the best.
All right. So turns out that that's actually the name of his second album is We the Best. Did you know that?
I do now.
And you know an artist who is heavily featured on that album on tracks like All I Do Is Win? Do you know who that would be?
Rick Ross.
T-Pain.
Oh.
So T-Pain has heavily featured throughout DJ Khaled. You know him from the highly, what's it called? Augmented voice, auto-tuned voice. All right, T-Pain. And he was born in Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh.
All right, so we're jumping around a bit. So we're going back to the birth of T-Pain. And then we're jumping further back. Do you know who else was born around Tallahassee, Florida and was from Tallahassee, Florida?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Jim Morrison, the lead singer of The Doors.
Who is...
Do you not know who The Doors are? Come on, baby, light my fire. No?
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, so Jim Morrison, the lead singer of The Doors, he was also born in Tallahassee, Florida. So you've made me jump around in time, but Jim Morrison then died 27 years later.
Was that a famous event?
Yeah, it's pretty famous. 27 Club. He died of a suspected drug overdose and a heart attack in what city? Do you reckon? It's in Europe.
Venezuela?
Paris.
That's not even in Europe.
So
is it?
Venezuela. That's in
I
South
was going to
America.
say Vienna in
No,
Austria.
no, he died in Paris. So this is Jim Morrison. So just a fun fact. Jim
I think I know where this...
Yeah, you know where this is going.
So who's in Paris?
No, that's not where it's going, and we're not putting that in. Pause. Jim Morrison was famous for having mountains of LSD before he'd perform, and I don't know what the measurement is for it, but one time he had about 10,000 milligrams or whatever it was of LSD. He's famous for having ridiculous amounts of LSD.
So how much
and
was that, Rob?
Being very creative.
You're the expert.
10,000 milligrams. Is it measured in milligrams or something like that? I don't know. Something like that. 10,000 milligrams. So this guy, heavy LSD user. So unsurprisingly, he had a drug overdose and a heart attack and died in Paris in 1968, 69, 70, around that time. All right. So what's another European city that starts with P?
Prague.
Prague. Wow.
Did I actually get this one?
And what recent Tom Holland movie was set in Prague?
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, Far From Home. And who was the villain in that movie? And also the villain of the album Red.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Boom. So that was my Domino
Very
Effect.
well done.
And
So what's mine for next
I
week?
feel like it jumps around. Oh, Jesus. I have to think about this. I haven't thought about this.
You're meant to prepare it. Gianni on the spot.
So how did Napoleon Bonaparte's surrender at Waterloo lead to George W. Bush's presidency?
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think you can do that? That's what, 1815 to 2001, George Bush came in as president.
He's given me a bit of wiggle room.
There's a lot of time there.
Bit of wiggle room.
I think the feedback from last week, I think people liked from episode 1, I think people liked your Domino Effect, but
I like the felt hats.
there
But
was
it was too quick at the end.
fair jump from the Bees to the
B
Bee
movie.
movie. And also the fact that Bryan Cranston was in Seinfeld, but you completely skipped over that. And apparently you made up that there was an episode that Jerry Seinfeld was addicted to cocaine.
You made up the whole thing.
He made up the whole thing. So you got exposed for that because I think a few Seinfeld fans were like, oh no, I don't know. Yeah. So just a few feedback points from last time.
At least people are watching the show.
That's good. That's good. Don't you have a breakdown of people
Yeah,
where people are
so-
watching the show from?
Nice little segue, Gianni.
Great
So,
segue. Was that even the next? Was that even supposed to be the next thing? Yeah.
I was thinking about it. So
voice.
one of the things we're looking for this podcast is sponsors. And
Always looking for sponsors.
I thought I'd just break down some of our audience stats to show how diverse we are.
We are an international podcast, and Campbell, I almost say you're the MC. You're the Mr. Culture of this podcast because you bring in all these listeners from all over the world.
Why me?
I don't know.
Okay, anyways. So
That's a lie,
breaking
actually.
down the Spotify
They're my
audience, we'll ignore the 87% Australian audience, but we're going to jump to second place. Could you guess what second place is?
United Kingdom.
Totally couldn't see my thing just then. Second place
Woo.
at 3% is the United Kingdom.
G'day, mate.
That's Australian, isn't it?
G'day, mate.
So to the
Liverpool.
United Kingdom fans out there, I would just like to say, pretty well done, yeah?
Brexit, yeah?
Would you like some tea?
I wonder who, I'm trying to think of who I know in the UK.
Are you British?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Anyway, let's move on
So can
before
you
this becomes cultural appropriation.
can you guess the third one?
No, actually, I didn't see that one.
Well, the third one, and I probably know the person that it is, but we have a fan in Ireland.
Ireland. Oh, shout out Ireland.
Diddly do potatoes.
That friend may or may not have been on the last episode with a special guest video. If you haven't watched that, watch that one. Ty Wade. Yeah, nice.
And then number 4 was very tall people. Can you guess what country that is?
in the Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
I think I
at
know who that
2%.
is. Shout out to the Dutch listeners. I don't know if I could say their name, but
And just to list the rest, because they're all the
I
same.
know who they are.
0.0057.
Oh, my friends in Italy. Ciao amici. Ciao I miei amici. Federico. Who else is there? Filippo. Shout out to those guys. Those are my friends from
Marco.
Italy. Marco might have listened to the podcast. Yeah. I hope you guys are well. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for interrupting. At 0.00578034682080925%,
Yeah.
we have Denmark, Italy, United States, Sweden, United Arab
UAE.
Emirates,
Shout out to our UAE fan
South
base.
Africa, New Zealand, India, Poland.
So they're all the same, right? So that must have just been one listener
Did you take a walk
from each. So shout out to our one fan in
each of those
Denmark,
places?
Italy, United
So-
States, Sweden, UAE, South Africa, New Zealand, India,
sponsors,
Poland.
if that hasn't sold you yet on sponsoring the show,
We are an international podcast at the end of the day.
let me get down into our Spotify only audience breakdown. 72% male, female percent 26, non-binary 0.6%, and not specified 0%. We're diverse.
I think we need to
Here
grow
at the
our
Crooked Smile
female-
podcast, we have 2.4% of our listeners over 60 years old. Hello, old timers.
Hi, Dad.
Oh, I was going to say hi, mum, but she's not that
Your
old.
mum's
so-
not 60. No.
But yeah, my mum is a great supporter.
I think
of the
we need to
show.
grow our female listener base based off that. But hopefully there's a
Alright,
segment.
so-
Hopefully there's a segment later in this episode that helps do that, isn't there, Campbell?
So
Continue.
if we could, what do you think our number one audience is on Spotify?
Definitely people our age.
Males 18 to 22, 42%.
Wow.
Yeah. Fellas.
Fellas.
But no, we
It's
got
good to know that our friends are supporting
10%
us.
35 to 44, 9% 45 to 59, 9.6% 28 to 34,
How many 60 plus?
2.4%.
2.4%, you said that.
So any of you old timers, you want to come on and say hi? More than welcome. We're looking for guests.
Yep, we can grow our listener base.
Our guest today, Margot Robbie, cancelled on us once again. So
And our secondary guest also cancelled on us.
we don't talk about him.
We don't talk about him. You know who you are.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
probably not even watching.
No, I don't think you would be watching.
So that's Spotify only.
And now we're on YouTube.
So I got the YouTube demographics, which is a bit more diverse. So coming in at number 1, Australia. Number 2, can you guess it? That's right.
United Kingdom.
The States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Number 3, United
Howdy.
Kingdom. And coming at number 4, out of nowhere, not even on the Spotify, is India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, India.
Thank you, India.
Sorry about the cricket again. That was tough to take for you guys, but
We got some other interesting
Travis
countries.
said.
We got the Philippines at 1.4%.
wow.
South Africa at 1.1%.
South Africa.
We got Malaysia, Italy, and then we got all the other random countries that I couldn't get printed out in time. So, yeah.
Wow,
So
what a wonderful breakdown of people.
let me just finish my pitch. Can you cue the music one more time? If you're looking for someone to sponsor, someone that, or some team that knows what it takes to promote the products,
Internationally,
get the ad rates out to those fans, international audience.
Mr. Culture,
Mr. Culture, Mr. Worldwide.
MC.
We're it. Crooked Smile Podcast. Brought to you by Macamedia. Sponsored by... Who?
Possibly you.
Sponsored by you. All right.
Wow,
So
that was
I had-
really good.
Thanks.
That's nice marketing for our podcast.
So I just wanted to... I had some talking topics that I thought I would ask you about today.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Interesting.
Cue the air horns. How many midgets do you think you could beat in a fight at once?
Next question.
Okay, I knew you weren't going to like that. So I prepared a follow-up question knowing that you were going to say no to that one. How many 4th graders do you think you could beat at once in a fight?
Next question.
How many, and I knew you were going to say no to that one, so I've prepared a third follow-up. If you had a midget, how many 4th graders do you think it would take to defeat a midget in a fight?
Is this like a Peter Dinklage guy,
Okay.
like Tyrion Lannister? Because he's pretty cool.
Say if we had Tyrion Lannister, how many 4th graders do you think it would take to beat Tyrion Lannister in a fight?
Mm,
And an interesting
With
question
swords?
could be, no, just hand to hand. But then the questions become, are we talking regular 4th graders or are we talking LeBron 4th graders? Because LeBron in 4th grade was 5'11".
really,
Yeah.
I'd expect bigger, honestly.
It was 6'4" when he was 14. So
Well, that's your answer. You're asking another question to your question. So can you decide the criteria and then I'll give my answer?
diverse, because we're diverse like our audience here on the Crooked Smile podcast.
Let's move on.
Break it down.
I don't know. This is random. I haven't prepared for this.
All right. Well,
Peter Dinklage would take 5 4th graders to take him down. He's a beast.
what about you?
What?
How many 4th graders do you think you could take?
I don't know.
25.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
What about you?
Depending on the environment and the arena, like if it was a Coliseum type arena, I think I could probably run circles while fly kicking and fending off.
You could do that.
So Coliseum, I reckon something like 50 or 60. But if it was
Yeah.
like a classroom, I'm going to say 13
Right.
because I could kind of use the desks as like barricades and stuff. And
Well, I'm glad that thought experiment's over.
yes,
Thanks for that.
I've got another segment, or not segment, but thing I'd like to talk about from my
Okay.
notes.
Yeah.
R2D2 impressions. I'm thinking more. I was thinking more of the Scream one. The
That's pretty good. Yeah.
and I don't know if you want to do that, but I've thought about this, and I've got a secondary impression that you could choose to default to instead.
Are we like performing these or what are we?
You could do R2D2 or you could do Chewbacca,
Yeah.
because some could say you're a bit of a Chewbacca, Gianni.
Did you get what you wanted, Campbell? Okay, so what now?
I feel like there's a bit of tension in the room today.
Why? You just pull in these weird segments from nowhere.
Well, I was excited to bring.
Okay. What are we going to do with our impressions?
Well, we could get the audience to vote on which one was better?
Do we need to do them again?
Okay. You sound like sounds like a constipated cat.
No, I can't do it. I'm probably better at RT.
All right.
I'm sorry to our Wookiee fan base listenership. Wookiees. Anyway, let's move on. What was that segment called?
R2D2 impressions.
Thought experiment. Okay. Moving on.
After high anticipation,
Massive segment.
all the comments saying to bring it back, keep it. Comments saying
Incredible feedback.
we want to see it. And personally, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan. You weren't a fan. You weren't a fan last time. You and Robbie both grimaced when we
rubbish.
started Year of the Week. Year of the Week,
Year of the
everybody!
Week.
Yeah. Why'd you cut off the? No, it's okay. I'm kidding.
Year of the Week.
Yeah. So look, obviously, I sent out a cry for help, and people heard it. People responded. People said keep Year of the Week because we weren't sure about it, but I think people love a bit of history. And when people ask what this podcast is about, I usually have no idea, but maybe we can make it more of a historically based podcast with segments like Year of the Week and Person of the Week and Person of the Week, not really, but Year of the Week and other things. So
Taylor time.
Year of the Week. And I think, in my opinion, the year that I've chosen this week is possibly the greatest year in history. Yeah. Big call. The year is 1969. So how long ago is that? No, don't do that. So what's that now? 54 years ago.
54
So more than
years.
half a century ago, but a really incredible year. So music-wise, some of my favorite bands were absolutely killing it around this time. We're talking Led Zeppelin. We're talking Rolling Stones. We're talking the Beatles. This was the height of the Beatles' power.
Stuff.
This is their last album, possibly their best album, Abbey Road. They released that, and they also had their last live performance on the roof at their studio, Apple Studio, whatever it's called. They just randomly decided one day to play an impromptu performance on the roof because they were the Beatles. So amazing Abbey Road, amazing record. Rolling Stones had Let It Bleed. Led Zeppelin had Led Zeppelin 2, songs like Whole Lotta Love were incredible. So they were at the peak of their powers. Space Oddity by David Bowie. So there are a few of the big points in music that year. When it comes to movies, there wasn't so much for movies. I found The Italian Job. Have you seen The Italian Job?
Yes.
The new one or the
With
old
Matt
one?
Damon?
No, so there's an old one. There's one with Michael Caine, the original. I haven't seen it either, but but it's a classic. They also had On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And you know what's special about On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the James Bond film?
Isn't that the worst one, the one in Australia?
No. It had an Australian James Bond. So you're kind of right. But the only James Bond movie ever with an Australian James Bond.
And that was regarded as the worst one, wasn't it?
No, it's quite good.
The
The worst
one
one's
in the ski resort or
Yeah, that's good. I think the worst one's Quantum of Solace. It's all subjective, but I think
Quantum of Solace with Daniel Craig.
Yeah, it's terrible. I like Daniel Craig as well. Anyway, that's subjective, that one.
Daniel
But
Craig, if you want to sponsor the show.
Daniel Craig. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So he was only in for one film, and I watched a documentary. His name George Lazenby, and they offered him a contract to do more films, but he turned it down. And I can't remember exactly what the reason was, but I guess because James Bond wasn't the franchise that it is now, he said no, he doesn't want to be like typecast into just being James Bond for his whole life. In my opinion, a mistake, but it's still pretty cool. It's a claim to fame. You're the only Australian to ever act as James Bond. Paul Mescal would be good. Anyway, moving on. So that's what we had for movies. Now, this was a big hit last week, but famous deaths. Campbell, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone that died in 1969?
Sad. Yeah, it's sad.
Let's have an in memoriam segment. So in 1969, we said goodbye to Dwight D. Eisenhower,
Great
President of the United States from 51 to 59, I believe. Judy Garland
Don't know who that is.
from The Wizard of Oz. Very, very famous actress. Now, this is interesting, and it became relevant quite recently again. Sharon Tate died in 1969, the star of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
Wasn't Margot Robbie the star of Once Upon a Time?
yeah,
in
well,
Hollywood? As Sharon Tate.
she played Sharon Tate. So interesting. When I first watched that movie, I had no idea what was going on. But after researching, the movie made so much more sense. Obviously, because it's a alternate universe where instead of the Mansons going and killing Sharon Tate on that night, they ran into Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt.
I watched Tarantino.
A high Brad Pitt.
I watched the Tarantino Joe Rogan podcast where he
Really?
talks about creating it and like the processes behind it, because he wrote a book about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And apparently the
It's pretty
book's got a
cool.
lot more stuff in it.
Wow. Well, yeah.
I'm excited for Tarantino's last movie coming up.
So this was a time where, isn't it like a Star Trek movie? Maybe
Couldn't tell
not.
you.
So this was a time where the Mansons were running around Hollywood killing people. A pretty wild time. So much going on. You've got bands like I don't know, the Mamas and the Papas.
The summer of '69.
You got like Joni Mitchell's and maybe they're a bit later on, but like great time for music, wild time to be alive.
Yeah,
Brian
the summer
Jones,
of '69, the greatest time. To
summer
be
of
alive.
'69. There you go.
It was the best time of my life.
We had Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones, also died, another member of the 27 Club, but possibly the saddest death of all of these, Ho Chi Minh.
Who's Ho Chi Minh?
Ho
Johnny?
Chi Minh, the leader of Vietnam, I believe. What is the capital of Vietnam? Bangkok. No, that's Thailand. Oh my god. I'm blanking. Vietnam. I think is it still Ho Chi Minh City? Robbie, help. Hanoi. Oh, okay. No, I feel like that's not that. But it used to be Ho Chi Minh City. So Ho Chi Minh, famous leader in Vietnam, he passed away in 1969, unfortunately. Births. Jennifer Aniston, Dave Grohl, Jack Black. Peter Dinklage was born in 1969.
The super mid.
P. Diddy was born in 1969. Ice Cube, crazy mother effer named Ice Cube, was born in 1969. Can you believe that? It was like a while ago.
I can't believe that.
Paul Rudd.
Great
Matthew
guy.
McConaughey.
Great guy.
And Snoop Dogg's brother, Nate Dogg, was born in 1969.
Nate
so
Dogg.
hell of a year for music, movies, and deaths and births. Events. President Nixon was inaugurated. Controversial president, but he was inaugurated that year. And then they had a serious run of events. In July, they had the man on the moon for the first time. So
Fake.
Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, some people think it's fake. In August, they had Woodstock. The people who treated to a Jimi Hendrix masterclass. Do you know what Woodstock was?
I have no idea.
All right, music festival. Monty Python's Flying Circus aired for the first time. The Rolling Stones played at Altamont Speedway, and they had the Hells Angels bikie gang as their security, and the Hells Angels killed 2 people. So shock horror there, or 2 or 3 people. Yeah, that was a big event.
Huge.
The death penalty was abolished in England, so to our UK viewers. But overall, I think, I don't know, it seems like there was just a lot more going on. So Vietnam War, all this music, the Mansons were running around, Man on the Moon, all sorts of stuff going on. Cold War, fascinating stuff. Anyway, that's my year of the week. I think 1969 is one of the great years in history, at least in recent history. And yeah, thank you for listening.
There you go, fans. So this next segment, I have put a lot of hard work into, a lot of
Yeah.
dedication and a lot of thought. And Gianni being the closeted super fan of this person that he is, I thought I would bring a segment to it. So this segment is known as Taylor Time.
Story, baby, just say yes.
Yeah.
So this segment, I'll be presenting Gianni with
Whoa.
each week a Taylor Swift line that we would then be breaking down and analysing and just talking about the validity of it and whether it's good or not.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of this segment.
So would you like the first lyric for the first Taylor Time?
Sure.
Boys only want love if it's torture.
Personally, I don't want any torture in my. If I was to fall in love, I wouldn't want torture.
I think
That's just from personal
I think it
experience.
is that boys don't want it, but like it's just how it ends up being, and the boys kind of.
Only want love. So is she saying that she?
I don't know.
Is the creator of the torture or
But do you think the statement is accurate or not? Overall,
no?
like,
Unfortunately, sorry Taylor, but
subconsciously the boys just only want the hard relationship. I disagree.
I
think.
disagree. Some people look for it. Some people like, I guess, the chase, the thrill of the chase, and I don't know.
You're talking from experience, Johnny.
No, I'm not talking from experience, but
What type of chase are you talking about?
I don't know. The torturous is in like emotional torture where things aren't that easy. I guess it makes things more interesting. Maybe that whole song, Black Space, is very, yeah, great song.
It's very pick me.
Oh, that's harsh. In what way?
Well, I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. It's all about her. Why can't it be about someone else, Taylor? Why is it always got to be about you?
She's not going to write songs about other people.
What about Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, but it was about her and Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, thank you very much for that
So
segment.
that's Taylor time. I hope that
We're on fire today.
I hope that fulfilled your wildest dreams.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest, but I might have to shake that one off. Anyways,
now I'm going red. Loving him was like red. Oh, that's it. Did we miss anything? Hope not.
Crooked Smile Podcast.
Thanks for listening.